Hello, everyone. How you doing?
Hi.
Welcome to another episode of Root to Fruit podcast. Non-perishable content. We're never going to fade away. I'm your girl, Elder Renee.
And of course, I'm your girl, Fee.
And we are here with episode 2, season 2, episode 2. No, 2. Remember, we didn't count the one from last year. We starting fresh. Everything fresh. We're going to get it together, y'all. But that's okay. Episode 2 of the year. And we are joined by another special guest. We don't want y'all to get too used to this, though, but we got to give y'all all of our best at the beginning of the year because y'all know we're going to be fading away come April just for a little while. But we want to give you all, start the year off with some very important topics that we all deal with. I believe January to be the year of the month of life.
Yes.
It's like refreshing, renewing. So that's why we wanted to bring on some of our most cherished guests to talk about things that we all have encountered or deal with. So today we are joined by one of my favorite people. And she didn't even know it at the time that she was one of my favorite people. Our story is so funny. Like, y'all know I do music and I'm around musicians, and sometimes, you know, they have girlfriends and wives. And April was, she's the wife of none other than my brother, Alex Ace Boogie
Woo-hoo.
Julian. Where the applause thing? You got to put the applause on for my bro.
Well, why we can't find it?
Okay. He is my bandmate, the vision behind the Dope Music Crew, the DMC, and so many other amazing bands. Sean Hitting the Shotgun. I mean, you can see him playing with everybody, but just an all-around amazing guy. But anyway, a man is not, you know, he's only as good as the woman that he has standing beside him.
Come on.
And I would see, you know, I would see April at the shows and whatnot, and, you know, she was not playing. She was letting you know, like,
that's right.
I'm here,
Come on,
bitch,
April.
and
Yes.
that's it. Just
Period.
know I'm here in the
Yes.
cut, like literally in the shadows. You can
And
see
you
her.
know she quiet with it too, like.
Oh yes, yes. It
But
took
like
her some, but I would
Walk in the
still
Sky.
smile. I would still, I was like, I wanted her to know, like, this ain't it.
Not
I
me,
ain't-
not me.
not me. Not me. That's like literally rough. But no, and I really respected her for that because it could get a little grimy out there.
Hell
So
yeah.
yeah, but she's an amazing, sweet, I mean, supportive, caring. Like some dark times that I've had in my life, she's reached out to me unexpectedly, and it just really touched my heart. But that's another place. But she is, like I said, the wife of Ace Julian. She is a 3-time master. So you're working on your 3rd master's now.
Go, girl.
So she is educated. She is works in the education field. What else? I want her to, you know, we let people introduce. I give them the, you know, the little tidbits, but I want her to go deeper into who she is. But I mean, April is here to talk about something that most women either don't know anything about. I personally am ignorant to a lot of this conversation, so I'm excited to talk about it. But we're going to focus today on the topic of infertility. And
Yes.
I want her to tell her story about that. But, yeah, she's here to talk about her journey and how her and her husband are going to, you know, move into this journey of, they have an amazing, beautiful, dope son.
Yes.
She is, oh my God, like, I don't even say she's a stepmom. Like, I thought that was her son.
Same.
I thought Mari was her baby when I met them.
Same.
Because, I mean, they look alike.
I was like, yeah,
in a
he look
way.
just like her.
She takes to him and cares for him like you wouldn't know that wasn't her biological child. So
That's
she's
dope.
already a mother, but they're working on her birthing her first child. So y'all give it up for April Julian.
Thank you.
I couldn't find her bio, y'all. I was like, over. So I hope I did her justice. April,
Oh,
how you
yes,
doing, sis?
I am good. I am so glad to be here. I'm super excited about this topic. As you stated, is definitely a stigma pertaining to infertility. So I am super excited to be able to be a part of the podcast today and share, especially in the African American community. 'Cause
Yes.
It's just something that's not discussed, and there's a lot of people, as you stated, when even bringing up the subject, that suffer in silence. And so if there's anything, anyway, after my own experiences, I really wanted to start to become an advocate for that, because I know the feeling, and if there's any way that I can assist by talking about it, by helping, listen, let's do it.
Yes.
So I'm super excited to be here.
Love it.
And
Love
the beauty
it.
I find it is that this is not your profession. This is just
Right.
knowledge and information that you've acquired just being on your own journey.
Right.
Okay.
And so one of my degrees is in counseling, and so I study school counseling, not professional counseling, but along with professional school counseling, you have to start on the professional counseling track.
Okay.
So a lot of the courses and classes and things that you have to know for professional counseling, you also have to do for school counseling. And so in learning just a lot through that, I was able to take some things and kind of process some things for myself. So although, it wasn't my profession per se, after learning so much, I felt like, listen, I know some stuff about this
Exactly.
now. So I'm definitely open to sharing all that I am learning. And as I learn, I just want to share as much as I can.
Okay.
This ain't working for me.
What's that?
Are we going live for Root to Fruit?
No. So, yeah. All right. So, I mean, I want you to, like I said, we don't, we kind of just flow around here.
I'll just start
Staying
watching.
within, the parameters of the conversation. But I want you to just tell us, about, as far back as you want to go, how you found yourself, found out about, and I don't even know how to properly even
Right.
say it, because I don't think it's nothing wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say
Some
like your
minor
issue.
complications,
Yeah. How did you come to find out about your complications? Like what was your
Right.
journey in that way?
So before I get into my journey, let me just say I love Elle, and,
I love you too.
and everything she stated in that introduction was very much true.
Yes. Go back there. Let's start there.
Let me just tap on that a little bit because first of all, let me just thank you, Elle, because
welcome.
she was one of the main individuals that helped me like really break down that wall, because I was very much new to dating a musician and that whole life. So after being married and experiencing things, I was side-eyeing a lot of folks.
As you should.
So, and Elle was just one of the individuals that broke down that wall like, listen, ma'am. And you could tell she was all about just sisterhood and just loving and embracing people. And so I love you to death. You already know that. But everything she said was definitely factual. But I am so grateful to God because I know he placed her in my life for a reason, probably vice versa, but for a reason, because I don't know if that wall was coming down.
Man, y'all. She was like Fort Knox around like the energy in the room. We'll be up there singing. She's like, I wish, don't smile at her no more.
And April has always been like that. Like,
Yeah. But and you know what? She's not wrong though, because you have to lead. I'm so open, like, hey, everybody, and I'm getting stabbed and
Yes, ma'am.
all kinds of stuff. So, like, yeah, I don't blame
so-
her at all.
I'm not like that as much anymore. So, thank you, Elle. And
You're
then
welcome.
Fee, I go back with Fee.
yes.
And I didn't know.
Back to childhood. Girl, almost.
Ninth ring,
Yes.
10th ring.
I almost bought my trophy from the 3-on-3 tournament. I don't know if y'all knew Fee was a baller back in the day.
On what?
A little bit. You a little bit.
I used to be a baller. Yeah.
So yeah, I am very familiar with
bit.
these women that I love very much. But jumping back into the conversation regarding infertility, so my journey specifically started back in 2011, and Alex and I married in 2010, and so in 2011, I became pregnant for the first time, and not knowing much about pregnancy or anything, I didn't really, we weren't planning to have a child at the time. We were kind of just married and enjoying life. And so I ended up getting pregnant, and I found out that I was pregnant at 8 weeks. And so immediately I went to Facebook and, put the whole thing out there. We was just so excited and, had this big announcement. And everything like that. And so, we were excited and everything. And I think it was probably 2 weeks later, I had these crazy pains. And I remember I called the nurse and I was like, I'm having these pains or whatnot. And they let me know that, you have to wait till a certain however far along before you come in and,
Right.
get checked and everything. So she was like, it's probably just ground ligament pains and this, that, and the other. So I'm like, okay, but the pain was so crazy that I was like, Alex, something is wrong.
Yeah.
And so just being excited about being pregnant, I was like, okay, I'm going to endure it. This must be a part of, what you encounter. And so I'm steady trying to endure it, but it was so intense that I was like, something is not right.
Right.
And so it ended up subsiding that night. And so, I was okay. The next morning I got up and went to the bathroom and I had a little blood. So immediately I thought that I was having a miscarriage because, that's what I associated with bleeding while pregnant. And so Alex left work and immediately we went to the doctor. And when we got to the doctor and they started to run tests or whatnot, and they came back and was like, yeah, we don't see anything, or, there's no fetus and this, that, and the other. So I'm like, well, what's going on? So come to find out, I was having an ectopic pregnancy, which I had never even heard of. So, like, that was just the last thing from my mind because that was something that was never talked about, like, what is that?
Right.
And so doctor had let me know that my tube had ruptured and I was bleeding internally, and had we not came in, I could have lost my life, and all of these just traumatic things. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, what is happening? So I had to go into immediate surgery, and they had to remove the baby because for those who don't know what an ectopic pregnancy is, it's when the baby is implanted somewhere other than the uterus. So mine was in my fallopian tube. And at that time I was 9 or 10 weeks. So 10 weeks in your little bitty fallopian tube is just dangerous. And so they informed me that had happened and they had to remove it. And so after doing that and healing from that whole situation, I didn't really have the time to process what had occurred because in my mind, I was just like, okay, after getting better. And what made it worse is my dad had passed just a week before that.
Aww.
So it was just a rough time. And so I didn't really have time to process everything that transpired because in my mind it's like, okay, well, I got pregnant, so that means I can get pregnant. Right. So I was like, okay, it's not a big deal. It happens to women, obviously. God brought me through it, so I'm okay. So, and this was in 2011. So at that time, prior to that, we weren't trying. But after that, it's like, okay, I want a baby now because you didn't experience that much, and it's like, so let's start our journey to trying. The nurse is like, after such and such time, you guys are okay to try. And so after 2011, we began trying again. 2011 turned into 2012 and in my mind it's not like something is wrong, it just haven't happened yet.
Right.
And then I had people like, oh, you really gonna get pregnant quick now because you were pregnant once, and usually when that happens, this, that, and the other.
Right.
So after 3 or 4 years, in my mind I'm thinking,
okay,
like, okay, something is up, right?
Yeah.
And then in the midst of that, you have people saying, well, what's taking y'all so long, and what you waiting on, and people not knowing. And that's another reason I think it's important to have these conversations, because everybody don't know and understand that they're saying harmful things, because a lot of people are just not knowledgeable of people's situations. But if you see a couple been married 5 or 6 years, in your mind you thinking, well, when y'all gonna have a baby?
So
right.
I don't though.
And a lot of people
you don't
No. I've never been like, wait, see, I already have, because of that reason, I think you just never know.
Yeah, consciously now you just don't do it. But I mean, usually,
a lot of people kind of, and especially at church and at work, and when you know a lot of people and connect with a lot of people, and a lot of people just fond of you, they like, we waiting on you.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I am too. But so years just kind of went by, and it had gotten to a point where it was about 6 or 7 years had passed, and I think that's when it really started to dawn on me that
sorry, y'all,
this is not happening. Like something is wrong, and this is not happening. And so at that point, I began to really take in what had occurred, like regarding the ectopic pregnancy. Like I really lost a child. This was the only time I was able to get pregnant. So all of those thoughts began to resonate, and I had gotten into a space of depression, got so bad that I literally went in the bathroom. I had all these pills. I had NyQuil, and I was literally ready to take my life because the pain, like, the pain that I was experiencing, it was like, even though, and I'm talking about saved,
Right.
a minister of the gospel, know
Yeah.
the word, know God.
Okay.
That she does, yeah.
But it got so heavy on me, like the enemy clouded my mind so much that I was like, the only way for me to rid this pain is to just get out of here.
End it all.
And that was my mindset. And at the time, Alex had happened to come in the bathroom because I didn't know nothing about taking my life. You know, it's not really what you want to do, but
Right.
when
You
you
want
when
to
you
get
in
rid of
that,
that pain.
right, and you in that place of darkness, and that's why I say don't play with mental health because it's real.
Yeah.
And your mind can, if you
At
allow
any
the
mo-
enemy
yeah.
to
Yeah.
overtake it, it definitely can happen. And so Alex had happened to walk in the bathroom and was like, you know, what are you doing? And thankfully, I have the husband that I have, and thankfully he was there. And so it didn't get to a point where I was able to actually
Actually do
attempt.
it, yeah.
So when I realized that I was in that place, I was like, okay, now I know that something is wrong. Prior to, I was like, it's okay, it'll happen. But after 2011, it'd be 2016, 2017. Finally, I mean, we went through a rough patch because I was just hurt and and I'm talking about it's just a pain you can't even describe.
Right.
And so realizing that I wasn't okay, I had talked myself into believing it's okay if we don't have kids. I got Mari.
Yeah.
This is my baby. And,
Yep,
you know,
yep.
like our connection is crazy
Right.
and always have been. And if it don't happen, at least I have him. I'm okay with it. And so as time went on, even that, it wouldn't sit well with me. It's like, no, I want my own child. I
Right.
want my own biological child.
Felt.
And so in 2018, I wouldn't, prior to that, I wouldn't go to the doctor. I would get my regular checkups, but I wouldn't go concerning infertility, right? I would never go and have the conversation like, I want to check into what's going on or whatnot, because my thing was I didn't want them to tell me I couldn't have a child.
What you don't know won't hurt.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I kept figuring if I
part.
don't know, maybe it'll still happen type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And so I just would not go from 2011 all the way up until 2018. So it wasn't until, like I said, thank God for my husband and his just lovingness, his faithfulness to
Right.
me and everything. He was just happening to look at the insurance, and he was like, oh, this new insurance cover IVF or whatnot. Now, me being black and from the hood,
We don't do
we
that.
don't do that.
Did you even know what that
mean?
was
I didn't
when he
even
said
know
that?
the
It's a
like,
thing now,
I knew
though.
the price. That's what I knew.
Yeah.
So I'm
Right.
like, yeah, no, that's not even an option for me. And so once he looked in and seen that it was part of it was covered, I was like, well, maybe I would go to the doctor at least to have the conversation now, because I know if they say, well, naturally so, it may not be able to happen, then I have that to fall back
Right.
on. So that actually motivated me to say, okay, I'll go and at least check it out. So in 2018 is when I first had the conversation with my OB about what was going on or whatnot. And originally he was like, well, you got pregnant before. Your husband has a child. So he was like, I think you can conceive. Maybe it's just a problem with ovulation. Now, what's funny, y'all, is that when you just, growing up or you just normal, you think about people having a baby and how they just have babies.
Yeah,
You don't
Right,
think
that's
the
when I
first
put a
time.
pin there because when you
Boom.
were saying y'all were trying, is it like were you following a calendar,
Right.
or was it just y'all being married?
Well,
like
at first it was just us being married.
Yeah.
And, we,
Right.
And so,
ew,
right.
Get
Games,
it.
But eventually I started trying to follow the calendar, doing ovulation kits, and which this stuff I didn't even really pay no attention to because people did the do and got pregnant. That's just
Right,
how it
right,
worked.
yep.
And so
yes they do. It'll
Sorry,
just,
Vonda.
just pop up on you.
It's your
Ah,
time, though.
yeah. well,
Yes.
all right, come on.
But I started to use the kits and everything, and so I would track ovulation, and so the doctor was like, well, maybe it's a problem with maybe you're not ovulating as frequently as normal or whatnot every month, and so he wanted me to try Clomid, and that is basically a fertility medication before like IVF that helps you ovulate more, and so I tried that. And then he was like, okay, nothing. And then he tried another ovulating medication called letrozole, and which does the same thing. And we tried that for about 3 or 4 months, and it was still nothing. So then he was like, okay, well, now you can come in and have the HSG, which usually people do that first, but because it's so expensive, he was like, well, let's just try this because, because he was under the impression that, you know, you should be able to conceive because of this and that. So I ended up getting the HSG done, which is the devil, because that stuff hurt.
It hurt.
Girl. So basically, they inject some dye in your tubes to see if it's blocked or anything. And if the dye pours out, then they're clear. But if they're blocked, that prevent pregnancy, you know, because...
Do that make you have to go to the bathroom right away?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. It hurt, though, when they feel like contractions when they send it up there.
Like cramps.
Yeah, like cramps on steroids.
Like contractions, basically. Okay.
Well, now you know what it's like.
I said, if this is what it's like, this the whole devil. Like, let me go back and rethink.
You think you get married, though?
Girl, I think my love for wanting a child is...
It's painful, but it's still that easily to endure pain.
Yeah.
Because you know on the other side of that, it's going to be something. But in the midst of it, you like, drug me up. Like, it's unimaginable.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm looking forward to that, but I am looking forward to the child.
Right.
So I did that and found out that my right tube was blocked and the left one was open. So he was like, you know, you can still conceive naturally with one tube being open.
Okay.
And so I'm like, I'm still hopeful. Like, okay, this is great news. Even though the right one was blocked, and that was due to scar tissue from the ectopic pregnancy, which is what caused it to be blocked. And so the left one was open, but I'm like, that's great news. Yeah. We can still conceive naturally. And so after that, he, you know, tried the ovulating medication again, and we tried some more after that. And so then still nothing. In 2019 is when I was like, okay, I think, well, the doctor referred me to a specialist. So he was like, I'm going to, you know, go ahead and refer you to a reproductive endocrinologist, and basically they specialize in everything fertility. And so it wasn't until this year, 2020, that I met with Ari in October. Okay. Now, typically you can't get an appointment until like a couple months out. Yeah. But I called and got an appointment like 2 days later.
Come on.
So I'm like, well, Jesus, if you don't come through.
Yes.
Right.
So I got the appointment. Now, of course, prior to this, I was, you know, thinking about not being able to conceive. And although you're doing things you're not supposed to do when you ain't supposed to do it, I just thought, you know, the devil thought he had me, but I got away. But unfortunately, there was some struggle.
That part.
So, exactly. And so when I finally met with the RE in October and gave her my story, and she went through my med records or whatnot, we had to go in and have some testing done. And she ran every test possible. And so we ended up, now we came to the conclusion of pursuing IVF because her recommendation was IVF, and only because like all of my egg quality, sperm counts and all that came back great. But she was like, being that the right tube is blocked, it can cause things to happen with the left tube. And so even if you
like
can
overworking it or something, you know.
I don't know to what extent, which I probably should have inquired, but
Marilyn Anderson said God showed his strong hand.
He
went into that appointment.
That's right.
Yes, he did. Let me clear this out just for him.
That's right.
Yes.
But she was saying that even though the left tube was open, that, you know, because you don't know what side you gonna ovulate on, you can ovulate on the right every time, and it's gonna be blocked every time. And so you would be another 10 years trying to hope, you know, that it work out. And so she was like, because of that, and that could be affecting the left tube, then, you know, this is probably your best course of action if, you know, this is what you really desire. And so, and, you know, me and Alice had talked to her prior to sitting down with her, and I was like, well, are there any other options? And she like, you know, yeah, you can do an IUI, which is they basically insert the sperm to get closer, and it's way cheaper than IVF, and it's a little quicker to do. But she was like, it's going to be the same concept because the egg still has to travel down the fallopian tube in that whole process. And so I felt like I done endured 10 years of this, and so I don't want to just be, if if I have to wonder or whatever during the IVF process, and I know it's not 100% sure, I feel better just knowing, what I'm getting into and what I'm doing. So we decided that we were going to go forth with it. And so in the appointment, she like, so when you guys think about starting, and typically people like let's have a conversation. We'll look at the finances
now.
Alex, right now. What do we got to do?
I'm telling you.
Yeah, Ace.
You got a room.
Yes.
So she was like, oh. So we decided that we were going to go ahead and start IVF. And so we are in that process now. And actually next week, Thursday, Friday or something like that, I start the injections, the medication for the process. So, we are in rotation.
We need a praise break. Yes, and thank you for sharing all that. That's
bomb.
Beautiful. Yes, I'm excited for y'all. Now, I want you to break down now what the IVF, what is that process? Like, what does that look like?
Right. So for me, I had not known anything concerning IVF. What's interesting is, and I know she wouldn't mind me sharing because she publicly shares as well, Marianne's mother, my stepson's mother, actually had the same issues. So she had what we call secondary infertility issues after she conceived the Marianne, which she had naturally, but she ended up having an ectopic pregnancy. Same situation where with her, unfortunately, I still had my left tube, but she ended up with none. And so she had to do IVF. I was able to learn a lot from her, which is we would have never thought. Concerning it.
Though.
I think stuff like that is so dope.
It's amazing. And so we, even though, early on we had differences or whatnot, trying to understand each other and our whole dynamic, a blended family, but we were able to form
shout out to your blended family.
Absolutely.
Right,
I love it.
Me too.
We were able to form a great relationship, so much so that we call or text whenever, have those conversations. Like, I was very supportive of her journey.
Right.
She's been very supportive of mine.
All right, shout out to her.
Yeah, shout out to Nadia.
Shout out to Nadia, wherever you at.
Yeah, so and she was very familiar with the process after going through it. And so me had not ever experienced it, and I was able to pull and say, okay, what's this, what's that? I watched a billion YouTube videos trying to figure out everything. So basically what it consists of is, when you do IVF, typically a woman ovulates and releases one egg a month. So what they do is, like for my protocol, it's different protocols, but for mine, they started me on birth control, which I was like, wait a minute.
That's going to defeat the purpose.
We trying to have a baby now.
Exactly.
But what that do is kind of suppress everything or calm everything down so that they can stimulate your hormones.
Okay.
Because
I saw your picture with that, and I'm like, I'm
right.
confused. Yeah. Okay.
And so what they do is I have to take injections, shots in the stomach, and it's basically FSH and other hormones that you typically produce when you get ready to ovulate, and they stimulate your ovaries so that you can produce multiple eggs.
Okay.
Because typically you only produce one.
Right.
So the goal is to get as many follicles or eggs produced as possible.
Okay.
Twins, triplets.
Somebody just said that. Kiana Craig said she's rooting for twins.
Yeah.
Well, triplets.
That's my sister-in-law.
Right. Double for your trouble,
Babysitters,
baby.
be ready.
Hello.
That's my sister. And so after they do that, so after you have to take the meds from 8 to 10 days, they stimulate the hormones, and they want you to get as many as possible because, unfortunately, all the eggs won't be viable.
Right.
Like, you'll have some that won't fertilize.
Right.
You'll have some that's not good.
Right.
And hence is why when people have miscarriages, is because sometimes they're chromosomally not normal, and not because of, not necessarily from genes or anything, but just because all the eggs that you have are not viable.
But that happens in normal pregnancy.
In normal pregnancy.
So.
And so in my mind, when people would have miscarriages or whatnot, I would always link it to stress or other issues. And ultimately, sometimes the eggs are just not,
Didn't make it.
they just didn't make it. It's just one of those that didn't make it. And so when they produce all of those eggs, the next step after that is what we call the egg retrieval.
Okay.
And so they actually go in, you go under anesthesia, and they retrieve all the eggs that you basically developed. And they take all of those out and try to fertilize as many as possible with the sperm. So the guy gives a sperm sample. They fertilize those, and then the ones that make it to a certain stage, which is the blastocyst stage, then from those you choose the best embryo to implant. And so
I don't mean to cut you off,
go
but
ahead.
you are going to produce eggs with what you're currently doing. There's no way that
Well, it depends on the individual.
Okay.
Because some people don't. Like, some people have went through IVF, which is why it's very tough because it's not 100%. And some people have went through the process and produced none. But a lot of times, before even getting to that point, people kind of have the idea that that's going to happen because either you have like a low ovarian reserve, you already don't have as many eggs because, as we age,
you tend to lose them.
But some people, even in their 20s, just from they don't have a high amount of eggs. And so typically when they do all of those tests, you know ahead of time that you might only produce this amount or, so that's why it's good to know that going into it.
Right.
But being that they gave me, a kind of a approximate count or whatnot, they like, you should be fine in that area. So that part, I was like, okay, I'm not too concerned with that part, but it's always something to worry about.
Yeah.
And so after they retrieve the eggs and they fertilize and they, you hope that they all fertilize, and then you hope that you get a decent number because you can freeze them if you have more than, enough. If you want to put one or two back, the transfer, you can freeze the rest if you want to have kids later or whatever the case may be. So you can either do a fresh transfer, which is, so after they do the egg retrieval, then 5 days later they put the embryo back. Okay. If you do a frozen one, then they freeze them and then you set the date for whenever you want to put it back.
Okay.
And so it's just a lot within it. It's just within the process.
It is.
I'm just thinking about girl. Just the shots alone had me like
You got to do it yourself.
The stomach one's the one that you give yourself in the stomach. You do yourself. Oh, God. But after, if you have a positive pregnancy test, then you have to get these shots in your butt, and your spouse usually or somebody else usually do those. But Alex gonna have to do all
water shot.
Let me just put some gospel in my ears and because it's a lot.
Wow,
that is a lot. But I think you are super brave.
Thank you.
And I thank you for your transparency because I don't have kids. I don't got no kids. But I don't know if I can I had a scare once. I had a situation. But thereafter, it was nothing else. I never tried. I never even thought about going to do like a fertility thing. So this is, it kind of like, woke something up in me like, well, maybe I need to go and like see what's up. You know what I'm saying? Because like we was talking about earlier, like you put this defense mechanism up.
Yes.
Like, for me, it was like, I don't want no kids. I kind of really didn't because I was okay with getting up, going and being,
Right.
But once you get older and you see life different and you find somebody that you love and you spend the rest of your life with, your mind changes. And that's what happened to me. I'm like, I do want a kid. Yeah. Like, I do. Like,
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing. Like, for me, it was even more difficult earlier on. I had some struggles because my husband already had a child coming into the marriage. Now, obviously, knowing that, I accepted you and everything that goes. She's not your baby mama. She's now our baby mama. I'm accepting the whole package. Right. And so, but I did find struggles in. I would say that I didn't care, either way or whatever. I was okay. But, and like I told you, I was like, wait, let me finish school and then I'm going to have a baby. Okay. And then I got another degree. Okay, wait, let me finish this degree. Hold up, I forgot about this one.
Right.
And so you would keep, trying to convince yourself even that you don't necessarily care. But I realized how even being married and my husband already having a son, I felt that it was tough for me because I was like, his son's mother shares something with him that I don't. And so that was very hard for me too. And not out of a jealousy thing.
Absolutely,
but just
why
that,
not me?
This is my husband that, and I desire to have a family.
Period.
And so I told myself, look, I'm not going to try to hide behind the fact that this hurts. because just like with anything else, you have to face what it is.
That-
You have
that
to
part,
acknowledge
yes.
and address that. Listen, it's just there's a problem, and that does not make me less of a woman.
Hello.
That does not make me different from everybody
Yeah.
else. You know, it's just a struggle. And then, you know, I encounter some people that saying, well, you know, you should just trust God because you say this and that. So why would you, you know, pursue IVF?
Faith
And-
without works.
Hello,
I mean-
and that's my answer. Simply that I had the faith to believe that God was able to do, and God worked that insurance out so
Come
that
on
we
here.
can
Hello, because
get
whose
Yes.
insurance covers
Yes,
IVF?
yes.
And not only that fee, but 90% of it.
Wait,
Girl, you made me spend this.
gas. Push the gas button on there. It's a button that say, "Oh, like what?" No, not that one. It say like 90%.
90% of it.
Yeah, what? That's it. What? 90%?
It covers 90% of it.
Oh
And
my.
when I
not
tell
that
you,
one.
people cannot find insurance that covers
Right, I'm like, whose insurance
And-
covers 90%?
And so
of
when
IVF?
I have that, I say,
Thank you,
Wow,
Lord, you know,
hello.
exactly. The faith that I said,
Come
he said,
on.
I've given you the faith, now do the work. So the
I've
work
laid it
was
out. I made the
going
path
to,
open.
Exactly. Now go to the doctor, see what's wrong, see what's the next steps. I didn't lay
Yeah.
it out
Don't
for
worry
you.
about the wait because I'm finna get this appointment in here today.
Right, that what
Exactly.
usually would have took months.
Exactly. And so, and that's my motivation in the process, knowing that it's not 100%, you know, for sure.
Right.
But I feel like if God done brought
You
me
done
this
did all
far,
this.
I just don't feel like he gonna
And
fail me.
right, he brought you too far to leave you right here.
And even if not, I trust God that much to say thank you for the journey.
Right,
Absolutely.
true.
You know,
True.
and so I
believe it's
learned
gonna
to
happen.
Girl, but I just don't believe that he would really bring you this far.
I
to
don't
be like,
either.
no.
I don't either. I declare and
That's all.
believe
Well,
that
that
I
was
am
just a
going
learning
to
process.
hold
No,
Yes.
no,
my
no,
baby.
no.
I absolutely believe and declare that.
And you know, and that's what I guess like one of my struggles with the people saying trust God. I believe yes, God is, but He's a doctor in the sick room.
Yeah.
Not physically. That's why He blesses us with real
Yes.
doctors who love and care and genuinely want to see people healthy and
Absolutely.
have their best. So that's the doctor in the hospital room.
Absolutely.
Not, he's there, but He puts people on earth
Right.
Listen,
to
he
be
has-
doctors and lawyers
exactly.
and
that's
all
what,
these
and that's
things.
the thing. We are merely just vessels. Whatever profession you have,
Yes.
whatever you do,
We
if
are
you're a
God.
doctor,
Yes.
if you are a lawyer, we're vessels that God has blessed
Yes.
you to use whatever talent and ability He has.
Absolutely.
And so if you are sick, you go to the doctor
Yeah.
to do whatever needs to be done. And so if I'm struggling with an infertility issue, I'm going
To
to
the
the
doctor.
RE for them to do what
Absolutely.
needs to be done.
Absolutely.
Because ultimately, God still has the final say. They can do the retrieval,
Exactly.
they can do the transfer, but it's only God that can make the embryo stick.
That's
Right. We
And-
trust you. We trust
Absolutely,
you.
absolutely. So yeah.
And well, my question is, you know, before the journey, before you know, the miscarriage and all that stuff. I recently, not recently, as of kind of, sort of, almost, got in tune with knowing my body. So I look for signs of, you know. I have a few apps on my phone where it's like I think it's Glow Flow.
Yes. Yes.
And you
All
know,
of
and
them,
it
child.
yes, and it tells you like, you should look for when you're fertile at this point. You should look for the stretchy stuff.
Right.
And Did you look for that?
I
Was
did.
you in tune with that type of stuff? You know?
Absolutely. And that's when I really and I would say to people that, you know, even if you're not necessarily trying to conceive or struggling with infertility, get to know
Your body, yes.
Get to know your body. If you feel like right now, you know, you don't want to have children, you never know how you're gonna feel later. So get to know your body and also have your levels checked. Like that's the main thing I would say is to have your levels checked, because that can let you know, you
Yeah.
know, even if you decide later where you are, what you might need to do. So the least you can do is have your levels checked. And
Right.
I did that because prior to that, like I said, we weren't watching cervical
Right.
mucus.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
weren't watching, you know, what time we ovulate. We weren't watching all of that stuff. You just
Right, in our culture, you learn
You
when
wasn't
you,
taught. Yeah.
you just know
You got
that
your
when
period
you come on,
and don't
Exactly,
have sex
and don't have
because you're gonna get pregnant.
don't
That's
have
it.
sex and
But it's a whole, like
keep
you
yourself
said,
clean.
Another realm to it.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
because you watch for certain type, discharge and what
Right.
that means.
Yes.
So you do have the slippery, stretchy. That means you're
The
you're
white
fertile.
sticky.
Yeah, and that means that if you're trying to conceive, now is the time to do it. But
don't
after
know.
a certain time, then it may look like this, and that means this. It all means something. Even when
Yes.
you have a twinge or something going on, that can mean that you're
I feel-
ovulating.
Yeah.
And yes, I just, started feeling that. Like, I didn't know what it was at first. I'm like, ooh, I'm still cramping.
Exactly, and
But as I got older, I'm like, oh, I now know when I'm ovulating. I
you
can
can-
feel it.
and I would've
And it's
never
always
guessed.
my right side.
And-
Always my right side.
And I tell you, and that's exactly what
I'm
it
like,
tells you.
oh,
You would have
God.
never guessed you could, because when the doctor would ask me like, "What do you know?" and I'm like, "Well, how I'm supposed to know?" But when you start
Yeah.
paying attention to your body,
Yes.
you definitely know when something is off, when something is going on, and now it's just like it's eye opening, and that's why. I think it's very, very important to have those conversations, even
Yes.
for young girls. You try to tell
Absolutely.
them to practice abstinence, or even if you don't, to protect yourself. But even in situations, if you know to watch your calendar when you ovulate,
You know when not to.
You would not at
Exactly.
least know when not to do
Right.
it. If we gonna help somebody,
Which is
know,
really like a week. It's the majority of the month.
These blue days.
You could be ovulating a week
No.
before you actually come out.
That's
Yeah,
true.
absolutely. Because you have the luteal phase, you have
Yeah.
the time where you have your cycle. Then 14 days later, if you have a typical cycle, then you have to know that stuff. How many
Right,
days is your
right.
cycle?
Mhm.
When
Yes.
is your luteal phase?
Yes.
Right.
Knowing that stuff,
It
See,
helps.
It helps. It,
It
definitely
really
does.
helps.
And that just shows how much we don't know. Like
Absolutely.
we just, like we said, we know to come on and go off, and the personal hygiene part
Yep,
of it.
That's all.
But like
Yep.
that intrigues me to even now want to learn more. Just
I know I'm
like
a
the
26 day cycle.
all of the lunar. What is that? I don't even know what that is. So
Yeah.
our bodies, like women, are so. I mean, humans, period, but women are just so beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Like, and I was thinking about that this morning. Because for those tuning in who don't know, but I'm expecting in April.
Yay!
I'm due in April. So just watching my own body go through changes and like feeling the baby, moving inside of you, and
Yes.
just like we are beautifully blessed creatures. Like
Absolutely.
that we bring life in this the complexity of our bodies. Like
Yeah.
it's so much more than just waking up and just being here.
Yeah.
No, like it's so many little things inside.
Absolutely.
Like we are
That
like
matter.
we are we're life.
Yes.
Like, and we have to know that about ourselves. And once we know
Absolutely.
that about ourselves, we'll be able to respect ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
know our worth, and demand that from everybody else who encounters us too.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like that's
Now that you're pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
do you notice things now that you didn't notice, but with Mitch, before, like,
with this pregnancy, as
Yeah.
far as like my body,
and even like little other stuff,
not really.
Is it about the same?
It's about the same. Like my pregnancies have been mirroring. Like I didn't have the morning sickness, things like that. I've been losing weight with this pregnancy. I didn't gain weight with Mitch, but I didn't lose weight either. But I've been losing weight with this baby. The only thing that I have noticed is my physical build. Like I'm older now,
Right.
So that area has definitely changed. Like my energy, I can't pick up and move like I used to. So I'm a little bit slower. But
Yeah.
other than that, no, I haven't.
That's bomb.
No,
Yeah, it
Because
is.
so many people be having so many sad stories. I hate to hear it, but
no.
I want to hear the good stories. Like, girl, I feel good. Like,
I do.
And that's another thing. Like, aside from me not knowing, I have a fear, y'all. I'm kind of fearful of actually like having a baby. Like, I be hearing horror stories, so I be like,
yeah.
oh God.
Now I won't lie and say that is like in the corner,
Corner
like
of
a
your mind.
little bitty piece. Only because, like, how they care about black women in the
Yes,
hospitals.
Right.
and that's the part for me.
And that's why it was very important for me to have a black
Yes, ma'am.
physician.
And
Shout
a
out to
doula,
Dr.
and a
Candace
midwife.
Lovell. Yes, and doula. Shout out to Mia. I've been having conversations with her about different things. But it was important to me to have that, to know someone like me who knows, who I feel like I can trust a little bit more. And
Right.
I have candid conversations with my OB. I don't just go in, let
Right.
her tell me this
Yes,
and that.
yes.
No, I tell her about everything, like even about the vaccinations. Like, I don't want it. Don't give it to me. Don't even ask me.
Right.
Just everything. And she tells me her honest feedback about my weight. Like, which is why I had a decision to have a cesarean versus trying to have him naturally because of those challenges that I already had prior to getting pregnant.
You had a
with
C-section before? Or?
I had a C-section with Mitch. He was lazy. I was in labor for like 13 and a half hours, and I had only dilated a centimeter and a half. So they wanted to go ahead and take him. So, but I chose to have a C-section just because, you know, I know what that is, and I'm afraid of pushing. You know what I'm saying? Because,
Me too.
like, I just can't.
Me too. I'm afraid.
I can't. Like, I mean, and it will probably be another experience, but, you know, with all the different challenges I already have physically, I'd rather just.
I mean, but you know your body.
And that's the thing. That's why it's important to not only know your body, but take care of your body. You know, take care of everything. And then, like you said, ask those questions. Be intentional about what you want to know and what you need to know. And that's why I'm like, you know, once I get to that point, I'm, in my mind, I'm already processing. I'm watching. I'm learning because I want to know what I need to ask. I want to know what's the best route. I want to start taking care of my body early.
Yeah,
so, you know,
that was
you
the
can
next
have,
thing.
You know, the best possible, you know, just whole situation. And so what you putting into it, working out, all of that stuff is important. And once again, in our community, you just you didn't see it growing up.
Nobody really prepares
Or did it happen? Like, I know it happens. This is something that's not new. And that's what the purpose, like we always say, the purpose of our show is to shed light to these things that, you know, and we don't hold it against past generations. However, it's our responsibility to make it something that's known, so that so many women walking around, like, you know, with the PCOS, and I know several women who deal with that, you know, and you know, one of my close friends is dealing with it now, and in her conversation, and I feel bad being pregnant. That's why I don't really not brag about it, but, you know, I'm pregnant, you know, because I don't know how that affects and I want to ask you that too, how it affects you knowing people who get pregnant. You see everyone having babies, but I hear it in her voice, like, you know, I'm okay with not having a family, but you really not.
You're not. Right.
You're really not.
Right.
And it's like, true. Talk about it so we, you know, can make it a normal thing.
Exactly. Normalize it, because even though we say that, like, even in the Bible, it talks something about, and I don't remember what scripture particularly, but it talks about 7 things that the soul or something desire, but it talks about the womb yearning. Like, so women desire, most times, everybody don't, but most times women desire to have kids.
At least once
or to be
in your life.
to be a parent. And it's not easy to say when you see people pregnant around you, because I know for me, I just love kids. I've been working with kids forever, so I love kids. So when people around me get pregnant and stuff, I'm genuinely excited and happy, but I cannot act like, in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, Lord, especially when they on their 3rd and 4th, I'm like, oh, that's so taking me home.
Yeah, or you see these parents just ain't right. You be like, God, you really be blessing the wrong people with kids.
Yes.
That's what I be saying.
Right.
So, and it's tough, but you know, you have to just keep in mind that, well, for me, I keep in mind that everything God does is for a reason.
Right.
And for me, I'm excited for the next individual, because I'm like, okay, you did it for them. You most definitely can do it for me.
Right.
My turn is coming. Absolutely. And so, you know, I choose to be genuinely happy for people who are able to conceive, because I think it's a beautiful thing.
Right.
But definitely in the back of my mind, I definitely have those feelings of, sometimes, listen, I'm just not here for your baby shower.
And that's
you
real.
Know, after you've been dealing with it for so much.
That's real.
But I'm most definitely going to get you a gift. And tomorrow I might be super excited for you. But today,
you know what?
That's
absolutely.
real.
And I have to be honest. Like, I was really, you know, that's been on my mind. Like, how does she feel, or even me engaging in this conversation because of me, you know, carrying, you know
right. And I think for people, it's just a growth thing. So I think it depends on where you at with it. Like for me, I've acknowledged it. You know, I've accepted where I am. So it's no problem for me to have a conversation, and it's no problem for me to attend baby showers or to, you know, celebrate life that's going on around me. Now, I can't say I was always in that place, because I'm talking about, I got sisters, I got, you know, family. It was a baby coming up every other day, and I was just like, Alex.
Yeah. Right.
You know, but for me personally, I'm in a place now where I'm like, okay, God, I just believe you're going to do it for me. So in the meantime, I'm going to celebrate with everybody else.
And that's probably that's why it's been set up for you so smoothly, because you didn't take the bitter road and
Yeah.
closed off, or you celebrated and you waited and you praised in the hallway until your door was open.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And then even the way he works, I told Alex, I was like, I wish, maybe when I turned 30 or when I was, a little younger, that maybe I would have went and got checked out. But then I thought about it as I was thinking about that. I was like, you weren't working where you were working. You weren't making what you were making, and you didn't have the insurance that you had.
Right.
So God does everything in His time for a reason. So I said, I'm not going to harp on what could have been or what should have been or what I should have did. He has me in this particular place in this particular season for a reason.
Right.
So I'm good with that.
And again, you wasn't made aware of that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think in your 20s, like, oh, let me go check,
Right.
see if I'm
levels.
fertile.
Like, what levels?
Like you said, back in the day, you saw people getting pregnant,
And honestly,
like
a lot
that.
of women
They
didn't go to
literally
the
just
OB.
had sex and boom.
Not at all.
That's
Not at all. Because
It's
I wasn't
not as common
I was not taking like
to the OB.
with
Me
the
either.
parents.
Me either.
I had to go on my own
Yep.
when I got grown.
Yep.
And I
Same.
didn't even.
Me too.
I literally heard from my friends.
Right.
Like my best friends was like,
Same.
I had my appointment. I had
Yeah,
my pap
pap
done,
smear.
and I'm like,
Pap smear.
Pap smear.
Well, I was kind of late.
well, what
with
happened when you do that?
all that
You know?
stuff? So my stuff kind of happened kind of late. Like my friends were having sex, so they had a reason
so they
to
had
go.
to. That's true too.
That's true.
I
That's true,
wasn't
too.
having sex, so
Me
I
too.
didn't know, and I
Same
didn't have a
here.
reason
Same
to.
here.
So it was like,
And that's
Yeah.
another
All new to
thing.
me, like,
exactly.
oh.
And
But that's
another
not
thing.
why we.
right?
Yeah, you go
True.
at 18.
True.
Definitely, you should
Yeah.
go and have a pap smear done. And then playing basketball, I was an athlete my
Exactly,
whole life,
yes.
and so if I was irregular and I didn't even know. So if I skipped the cycle, I'm like, high five, Jesus. I don't have to deal.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
You hoping so.
Exactly. So it wasn't a big deal. But later on,
Man, my
finding that
stuff
means you're
every
not
time I-
ovulating.
oh,
you
Nah,
know?
I was so irregular.
Yes.
My younger
Same.
years. Yeah.
Still, it don't miss a beat.
Mm-hmm.
When that tracker say it may be like 1 or 2 days, but it
See,
comes.
and that's good. That's
I'm
good.
like, God.
Because that means
Never
most
get a break.
likely,
Right.
that means most likely though that you're ovulating.
But I
every
used
month.
to be pissed about it. Like, dang, because my
have to
sister,
plan your
whoever
life,
else-
yeah.
Right. See, and I
Trips
used to
and
be-
all that stuff.
I'm like,
around it.
dang, my
I was
stuff
okay
is so,
with it. I
like,
got
Yeah.
a game next time. Going on now. But
I
later
used
to
to
find
be
out.
pissed.
Dry me up, Lord.
I used to be pissed.
But to find out later on that, you
That
didn't
was a
ovulate
problem.
that month.
Yeah.
You know, and that's an issue
But
because
you didn't realize that, you know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't a
Exactly.
conversation that was had. Not even
Exactly.
in the sex ed classes.
no, I had no
Fertility
idea.
and things like that, it wasn't talked about. It was just, when your period come, that's when you're able to get
Right.
pregnant.
This is
Exactly.
how it happened. Right.
And then you have people now coming out. You have Michelle Obama,
Yep.
who
Yep.
talked about her IVF journey, and both of her kids were conceived from. And it's a lot of people that you wouldn't have no
Like,
idea.
Most of these celebrities,
Yeah,
though.
that their kids were conceived via IVF, but so now it's not such a. It's starting not to be such a stigma. Now it's with IVF specifically, but with infertility in general, people struggle, have situations, and it don't necessarily have to be to the extent where you need IVF, but it might just be irregular cycles. It might
Right.
be PCOS or
True.
endometriosis. Any
True.
of those, have an effect on not even if you just trying to have a baby, but your whole livelihood. Because some of the stuff that comes along with like PCOS
Yeah.
is hard. Like
right?
they
Like
are-
somebody was saying, like your hair, you lose your
Yes,
hair.
you in
like,
pain. You have all of these different struggles.
Yes.
So it's definitely a lot.
Well, thank God that's not your.
yeah, and
You know?
thank God I didn't have
See, it
that.
could be
Right.
worse.
Ex-
Well, not worse, but
absolutely.
it could be something else that you just like.
Absolutely.
No way.
Major
you know?
hurdle. Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's why I learned in my journey. Be grateful because once I started to learn about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this must be what I'm suffering.
Right,
with. This
yeah.
must
No.
be what I'm dealing with. But thank God it wasn't my story.
Right.
But people are suffering with that and silently, and
Right.
that's what's hurtful for me because people are in that dark place of depression that I know.
Ashamed. Ashamed.
Exactly, and it's like you don't have to be. It's okay because although people are not speaking up, they're dealing with the same
Right.
thing, and you
Yep.
can speak up about it. You can have
Right.
somebody to talk to about it, and that's why I want to normalize it. Like, no,
Period.
it's
Yes.
okay. It's okay.
So now,
Go
okay,
ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Fee.
Okay, so now that you're going through your journey, what are some things that you do to prepare your body?
Yes, I was
Like-
just gonna ask about the health. Like I see you drinking a smoothie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
so-
do you eat the same way? Do
I
you-
actually changed a lot, and it's a struggle because, first of all, birth control is the devil. I don't know why. I've never been on
birth control.
Me either, girl.
Nope.
Thank you, Lord. I never.
I was
really
big
had
enough.
to.
I'm like, I ain't need to get no
Never
bigger.
had to. Thank God.
I've never been on birth control in my 36 years of living.
Yes, me
never.
either.
And when I had to start this the past couple weeks, girl, I said, first of all, what? This is the devil, and I don't
Yes.
know who was okay with doing this. I don't like it. I don't know if I'm hungry. I want to throw up. I want to eat.
Really?
It's just all kind of stuff. Be
See,
going
y'all
on with
almost because my cycles, they're kind of heavy.
it. Okay.
Because I have fibroids.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah, that was like proposed. Like, maybe you should take it.
Yeah, I've heard
But I
of
was
that.
like, no,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Girl, I do not. I do
didn't
not like it.
I'm like, God, if you're going to do something, you're going to do it with this.
Yeah.
You know, I do stuff now differently. Like, I do the black seed oil, and I've noticed a major difference in my cycles.
Absolutely. Ginger shots.
Yes, that too.
That
Yes.
definitely, and I changed a lot of things. Like back when the pandemic hit, Alex and I started changing a lot of stuff. Like we started juicing. I stopped eating sugar, just sweets, period, bread,
yeah.
that stuff. I took out a lot of different things, and from time to time, I have what I want. In which, after this crazy birth control, I really just been going all in.
Listen.
But I had literally changed after I knew I was headed in this direction. I literally changed a whole lot. I started doing the ginger shots, and prior to that, prior to I'm just gonna say even like Shindig and stuff becoming more popular. I didn't even know a lot about sea moss and elderberry and ginger shot. None of this natural stuff that could help, but it's really
Yes.
true.
Yes.
Like I've
Shout out to
gotten heavy.
Manon.
Yeah, I've gotten
Yeah.
heavy into ginger shots. I make my own. I have one a day.
Come on here.
I juice. I do
Yeah.
smoothies. I try to incorporate lots of
Water.
greens, lots
Yeah.
of water.
Yeah.
Like doing that stuff alone helps with
regulating your
much.
body.
And
Yeah.
you literally
Yeah.
feel better. You really do. You really do.
Another thing you should research is the bladder wick. You heard of that?
The Bladderwrack pills.
Oh man, but that's supposed to
Kmart,
help with like infertility.
I'm gonna
Really?
tag him
Yeah.
on the
I follow Pharmacy for Life
Okay.
on Instagram.
Oh,
And it's
yeah, I
like
remember that.
the black
Yeah.
hip hop group, but they like into natural remedies, holistic stuff.
Okay.
And
We'll
they
have to check
promote
it
a
out.
lot of that. They got like their own stuff, and it's based out of Canada.
Oh, okay.
So I got like a little subscription I got coming, once every 45 days.
Oh, okay.
So I'll get the sea moss, the bladderwick, and I'll get the oil, the black seed oil.
Oh, okay.
And they got like some other stuff called Iron It Out because my iron is like low, was low. So I get that too. But I ain't gonna lie, I ain't been taking it in a while. But I'm back on it. But it's
Yeah.
really good. Like you can
I'm gonna have to check
literally
it out.
feel the
Yeah.
difference. You
We
can
have it
literally
got
feel the
locally too.
difference.
If you do that, Kmart Carter
Oh, okay,
has
yeah.
it here. Netter's
The bladderwick.
Yep, sea moss and bladderwick
Oh,
pills.
okay.
maybe let me change
We'll
my
have to check
subscription.
that
No,
then.
yeah, I mean, he's
No,
and he
because I want to
does-
help locals
Yeah,
too.
you
Right.
want to
Help, but patronize locals
absolutely.
too.
He
You know.
has smoothies. He does meal plan, meal prep. I did, salads
Oh, right,
and
that's
smoothies.
the guy
yeah,
you was telling me
yeah.
about. Right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I
I
tagged
wanna
him
try
on the
the
post.
gel.
That information.
I wanna try
yeah,
that gel.
definitely.
But I know that that helps with everything, your attitude.
bladder
even.
wick.
Hey, boo! That helps with your attitude and
Who's
everything.
cooking in the house?
Hello. What we got over? I wish I could turn the camera around. Shout out to
Right.
Who's Cooking, y'all.
Right.
Coming to Sherman Phoenix soon. Ooh, they for sale? Put me one up. I'm coming there to get one. Okay.
See, shut up.
Willpower, Lord. Okay. Watch it. Yeah, so that was one of my questions about, and then your support system.
Yeah.
I
that's
know, like
huge.
you have a huge support system.
That's you, and so the support system is huge in the journey. Like
Mm-hmm.
I definitely am grateful for my support system. My
Mm-hmm.
husband let me tell you, that man was sent straight from God.
Yeah.
Okay?
Come
There
on.
wasn't no detours on that thing or nothing.
Come
like
on,
a straight
Pastor
pipeline.
Alex.
Yes.
I no lie, no exaggeration, not to pump him up.
He is
like
really
he
a dope
is
No.
really
person.
who
Pump
y'all
him
think
up.
he is. He is.
He is.
Like all day long at
Yeah.
home, like anywhere we go. Alex is Alex.
He's
and
Alex.
He is absolutely.
I've said that
the
from
best.
day one.
And yeah, for
Mm-hmm.
real, like I could not want to have a child with a better man.
Right.
Like,
Come on.
Right.
Come on.
he
Shut up.
is. Yeah, for real.
And how I knew, just to stay there for a second, because that's important for you, you know, you're stressing and stuff because you could be with someone who was insensitive to what you were going through and not supportive and like, well, you can't give me this, so I'm going over here. But, you know, just knowing the decisions that he made.
Absolutely.
Even, you know, I was hurt. Like, I was like, why are you leaving us? But, you know, my bro made some decisions, you know, for his family.
He did.
That
Absolutely.
I believe all those sacrifices, God honored those. And now it's like, all right, you know, they for real. So I'm gonna give them what they want because they gonna do what they need to do.
Definitely.
You know, it's gonna make it happen.
Definitely.
So shout out, look at him. Yeah, you better put them fists up. Shout out to you, Ace, and you know, I'm not as familiar with yours. You know, the love. That's your maiden name, right? Love. The love side, but I know like the Julian side. Like y'all, you one of them. So,
and it's crazy because the Love, my maiden name is Love. And then the Julian side, our families like literally mirror each other. Like he has a brother named Ernest. I have a brother named Ernest.
One of your brothers facilitated a wedding that we sang at.
Oh, my oldest brother.
What's his name?
Dre, Elder Love.
Oh, he's so funny.
Girl, he a hot mess, and he probably
he is so funny. He is hilarious, but that's
Elder
like
Love. Yeah, that's my oldest brother. But he has a brother named Ernest. I have a brother named Ernest. His name is Alex. My brother name is Alex.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy. We have the same amount of siblings. Like his mom used to live. His grandma used to live across the street from my grandma when his parents were younger. So before we even were thought of, like the way our paths match is crazy, and our families are literally
divine connection,
identical. And so the love support, like my family, is just we've always been super. I
mean, love, like your last name.
We are like inseparable. We are one. Like so, there's no question about that support. And then Alex's family, like I don't like to say in law. I don't like to say in love. Like that is literally my family.
Yeah.
Like his mama is my mama. His sisters is my sisters. His aunts is my aunts. Like I love them. Like I literally came from that. I've never seen a family that's more embracing, more loving, and just authentic.
Right.
Like it's not a show. What you see from them
is
really like I couldn't even. You know,
I can tell because how my family is. You know when it's real and when it's
exactly.
You know, so
and so the support is super amazing. I know for a fact that they're cheering us on and rooting for us and anything I need.
Yeah.
I know I got babysitters in the cut.
Hello.
So
until baby Julia come, y'all can take on baby Jeans just to get some practice in. Coming soon in April. He'll be available starting in August. So
bring him on.
Let me know. I want to ask you quick, and then we're gonna wrap up. You know, I know you start next week, right? With going in,
right?
So, do they give you like percentages of, you know, the possibilities, or is it kind of like, you know, we have to each?
And that's the scary thing. That's where, you know, my faith is literally activated. Because you just don't know. It's basically once you start the stems, I have to go and get monitored like literally every other day.
Okay.
Doing ultrasound so they can kind of see if the follicles are growing, maybe if they have to change the protocol, if they have to do the retrieval a little earlier or add a day, you know. So as you go through the journey, like they're monitoring you,
right?
And then from there, you know, each day you find out something new, and it's such a waiting game that I think that's the hardest part.
Yeah, that part. Like,
you know, waiting to find out, did they fertilize? Did this happen? Is this gonna work? Do I have enough? That part. But for me, mentally, so I've conditioned my mind to the fact that, you know, if it don't happen the first time, there's a second, right? We'll try a third. Right. I'll condition my mind that I'm not gonna get down and, you know, upset, but I'm gonna move forward, and God is going to see the end victory.
Absolutely.
However, we got to get there.
Okay,
so,
I feel that.
So, question, because I've been seeing, I know a surrogate, like a personal surrogate that lives here. If you know, when you produce these eggs, these millions and thousands of eggs, you know, and just so that process doesn't work, have you thought about different options, like such as surrogacy? You know,
I have like no problem with surrogacy. I have not considered it personally. And just
because we believe in for it to be naturally, you know, and
right.
Yeah.
I just never considered it. I've, you know, looked at it and looked at different stories because I did look at all the options. I did consider adoption if need be. It would definitely be a baby, you know.
Right.
But I that was something that Alex and I talked about that we would be probably be okay with. We didn't really talk about surrogacy. Like I said, I don't think I don't have a problem with it. I just never really I don't know. I don't know how I would be with just the whole fact of somebody else having that whole experience. You
and
know,
not me.
Right.
and not me.
Right.
I don't know if I just rather not do it. I don't know if that's selfish, but
I mean, it's where you are now.
Yeah, you know,
they may change.
yeah, right. So, but I definitely, I'm not against it.
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay.
against it.
All right. And I'm trying to see if anybody said anything on here. Of course, we got the family chiming in. They told us
Hey,
bring
family.
the baby on. Okay, we talking about baby Julian and baby Jeans now. Maybe or both. They can come over
Baby
at the same
Jeans
time.
is definitely on the way.
Yes, he is. Do you have anything else you want to wrap up with? Any last questions or?
Yes, like how do you feel about being induced? You know, after you go through the process and it happens.
Yeah,
It's
girl.
going to happen.
I've been I've been looking ahead on all this. Trust me, I'm
Like
just like
induced.
yeah.
I follow. Well, I don't follow. I stumbled across this. It's called Mighty Mamas Movement.
Mm-hmm.
It's super dope. It's like this lady, and she talks about how to prepare your body
Right.
for labor. Like it's super dope. Like literally, she was saying like practically pain free. Are you looking to go natural, or are you looking to have the epidural, or water birth,
Yeah.
home birth?
I've been, I've been definitely thinking about all of that stuff because obviously you're gonna have to get there at some point. And honestly, I ain't gonna even tell the story. I've seen a couple births. My sister-in-laws, but my sisters. And one particular, my sister Kiana. Forgive me, Kiana, for putting you out here like this.
Kiana.
But
She's like natural.
when I seen her delivered, now I definitely think I'm into the drugs. They might have to stick me because that natural, I don't know about all that. But when I seen her deliver my godson, her last child, she just, and I don't know if she's been a parent before, but y'all, when I tell y'all she made that thing look so seamless.
Yeah.
What? She just was like, she was telling us like what was finna happen, when it was finna happen.
How
get
many?
ready.
How many kids she got?
That the last one is
how
her
many was
fourth.
that? Okay.
So she's a professional addict.
Right.
But I'm just saying, when I saw her, just in action, I was like, it made me want a natural birth.
Yeah.
I'm like, be in the room
Because
with me. Be in the room with me.
I didn't want to do the cesarean. I just wanted to experience that, and not only that, because after doing IVF, you want to try to normalize stuff as much as possible.
Yeah.
So I was like, in those respects, if I had to, of course I would, but I would want to try to make at least that aspect more natural. And then just seeing her in that moment, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it like that.
Right.
Knowing it ain't
It
gonna happen
look
like
easy.
that, but she made it look good. So.
Shout out to you, girl. 5 minutes in, I'm like, give me the meds. And I even had one of my good sisters, Melissa Muhammad. She reached out to me about possibly naturally going through a birthing center, like not even doing it at a hospital.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I would rather.
And I would too, but
I would rather.
yeah, I'm not, and I might be doing myself an injustice.
I mean, but you gotta do. I think you're doing
I-
that because you're doing what you're familiar with, and you know
That,
your body.
Right.
And I want
your
to,
pain
yeah,
level.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. and-
Because I imagine
See,
it's
I'm
lot.
a newbie, so I'm whatever. Come on.
Right, like we think we're ready.
Right.
I'm getting to
Like,
that
I'm
room.
watch right, and then just yeah.
I be trying to
That's-
equate it to cramps, menstrual cramps. Maybe times 10.
times a lot.
Ooh.
Times a lot, and it's like
Vonda.
it's inescapable. Like you can't.
Are
You
you
know, cramps. You
serious?
can take med. You can take the
Yeah,
ibuprofen.
that's the part I got a
and stuff.
problem with. It's not like you can just get rid of it right quick.
No, fam.
I'm so sick because I try to bear my cramps.
Like, how can something so beautiful? How can something so beautiful produce such
so much
agony?
pain? Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you little person. Like I done went through all this
Like,
for
I don't
you.
even want to hold you right now.
And that's why some of these women, like when they actually had a baby, they're like I just need a
I'm
moment.
tired.
Like,
Yes.
yeah,
That's crazy.
it's a lot, but it's the experience. Like
Yeah.
even cesarean,
Yeah.
you can feel the pressure of them pulling the baby out, and when you see it, So I'm excited. I could be there with y'all because we gonna all be in there
I don't
shouting
know,
and
man. I'll probably be
dancing.
in there fighting.
It's gonna be smooth because like one of my girls in Memphis who delivered, she had like a movie delivery. She went to the doctor, and her doctor was like, "You about to have this baby," so they had to shoot her across
she
the
didn't
parking
even know?
lot. No,
See, that's how I want to know.
shot her across
I
the
know,
parking
I
lot
wanna
to the
be 8
to the
centimeters.
I want to
hospital.
be on a Taylor
And that's
moment.
what she blew. Like she didn't
Fast to the
have
floor, like,
any issue. She just popped the baby out.
Really?
Like she was like it was regular ploop. Yeah, she was
God
wide open.
bless me
Yeah,
indeed.
so
Right.
everyone is different. You
Yeah.
may have
I
a
would rather do
smooth,
that.
yeah. And the thing about it is, and that's what I love about it all. You don't know. We don't get to plan
True.
anything. We don't get to plan what
True.
we have. Any of that. It's just something that's going to be,
I just ask
Yeah.
that I don't be induced. I do
Yeah.
not want to be
Yeah,
I had to
induced.
think
be
I wanna
induced, right?
do
I
Because
don't
he
wanna
didn't.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went past my due date with Mitch. It was originally
See, that's
June
what I don't
29th,
know.
and he didn't come,
It's
so
just
I had
like
to
when
be
they
induced.
induce you, so
Yeah.
much just happen. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause they gotta give you
unnecessarily
all
had,
these
like,
medicine
the
to-
Pitocin and all that
Pitocin,
stuff. Yeah.
and it's forcing your body to do something that it naturally supposed to do. So
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
want
pray that your baby's gonna be lazy.
Yeah.
No, I'm just went. He wasn't
I mean,
lazy.
Yeah.
we gonna be
because I
working
ain't
out
late.
together.
Hello.
Come on.
Right, exactly. Well, thank you so much,
Yes, we
April.
truly
This was
appreciate you.
amazing.
Yes.
Like, I feel better about knowing what other women go through, and I can be more
Same,
supportive,
same, yeah.
and even just encouraging women if you're not sure to
Right.
just go get your bodies checked out.
Yeah,
Whether
yeah.
you're trying, you're not trying, you have children or
Yeah.
not. We need to know what we possess inside of us and the
Exactly.
power we have literally inside of us.
It's
And
definitely a gift.
yeah,
It is.
It is.
Get those levels checked.
Check your levels. Level up. Level up.
Level up.
Level up. Level up. Level up.
So if you're are you open to talking to other people about it or whatever have you? Like
Absolutely.
people who are going through, that thing. Mm-hmm. So if so, share where they can find
Oh
you.
yeah, I was
at.
gonna say she has a whole brand.
Oh,
honey.
Okay.
Yeah, so I am on Instagram. So the Instagram was originally created because we started a YouTube channel.
Okay.
My husband and my son, we are the AJs.
Hey.
Just somehow all of our first name started with the A and end with the J.
Oh, that's cool.
We were just meant to be together. But you can find me on Instagram at the AJ. I think it's the AJs 3.
Yeah, the AJs.
I don't even know.
Wait.
THE. Can we put that in the chat
Yeah.
box?
THEAJAE
S3.
S3. Look, I don't know what it is.
AJE.
But I will be
So it's
AJAE
At the at
S3.
symbol. AJE.
ooh, I'm so confused.
AJAE.
At THEAJAES3.
Listen, y'all know Instagram be making you add extra stuff
Yes,
when the
like,
names are
'cause this
taken.
name is
And your
taken,
page.
yeah.
And your page is private, girl. I be trying to share your posts and stuff.
Oh, it's
I said
Yes.
April is private. She is.
But I tell like she's been that way.
Yeah.
but I would change that. But I definitely will be sharing my entire journey.
Yes.
Even on
That's
YouTube.
good.
It's the AJs on YouTube, and I will be sharing all of that, the injections, the retrieval, the whole process. I'll be sharing that on YouTube, so you can subscribe to that too if you want to follow the journey. And then the conversations I have on Instagram, I will be having one coming up. Is it next week? No, the 30th.
The 30th.
Yes, with Vonda.
Yes.
El Renee. Sorry.
That's okay. They know me for
yeah.
all of them.
And we will be talking about identity and self-love. So I'm
Yes.
super excited about that
Me too.
because,
Me too.
yes,
I'ma tune in.
I truly know that you define that. So I'm so excited to have that conversation and
Well.
share that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. All right. Is there anything? Will it be anything else?
Is there one? One more.
Right. Y'all make sure to all of our new people who have tuned in. Thank you to all of the family who have tuned in. Y'all make sure y'all follow Root to Fruit podcast. We have these conversations all the time, and we hope to have April back soon. Just with an update on her journey,
yes.
and bring back Baby J.
I'm
When
here with
he
the
gets here,
baby.
right? We want to see him and bring him on and celebrate.
Well, how you know it's gonna be a boy?
Because everybody gonna have boys. I ain't speaking no more girls into the atmosphere. It's all boys. Boys. No. But no, y'all make sure you all follow us. Roots of Fruit. We are shedding light and pulling up those roots
Yes.
of negativity, those roots of doubt, those roots of not knowing and being
All of it.
in tune with who we are as a culture, and we are planting seeds of love and joy and hope
I love
and
it.
prosperity, and we are blooming and growing and producing fruits.
That part.
So y'all make sure y'all follow us. Shout out to Tone and TDR Podcasting Network. Y'all make sure y'all follow him. We have like 1 million podcasts on our network. So if you don't catch ours, catch someone else's. And we're on Spotify. You can find us on Spreaker and also Apple Podcasts. So make sure you subscribe to us as well. And yeah, it's been another great
It's
episode.
been
I'm
one,
so like
guys.
I love when I feel excited after an episode. Like, yes, this is
Great. I
amazing.
love it. Yes.
Thank you so
All right,
much.
we
Thank
love
you,
y'all.
All right, y'all. We love y'all. Have a good Saturday.
See ya.
Oh, I forgot to